Most people think they have a money problem. They don't. They have a fragility problem. And the dangerous part? Fragility doesn't feel like danger. It feels normal. It feels like getting by. It feels like doing okay. It feels like we'll figure it out. Until one thing goes wrong. One paycheck is late. One bill jumps. One emergency shows up uninvited. And suddenly everything collapses at once. That's when people realize the truth. Their entire financial life was balanced on assumptions. Not systems. Not protection. Not margin. Just assumptions. I'll always have this job. My health will probably be fine. Nothing major will happen. Next month will be better. I'll catch up soon. Assumptions are not plans. They're gambling without admitting it. And in today's economy, gambling with your stability is lethal. This is not about getting rich. This is not about hacks. This is not about side hustles, crypto tips, or pretending discipline fixes broken math. This is about something more important. Survival first, control second, freedom last. Because if you skip survival, everything else collapses. Welcome to modern money, built around one word that changes everything. Margin. Why looking fine is the most dangerous financial position. Most financial disasters don't start with irresponsibility. They start with everything seems okay. Bills are paid. Credit is decent. Rent is manageable. Groceries are affordable. Nothing is on fire. So people relax. They think they're safe. But what they really are is exposed. They're living in what I call comfort theater. It looks stable. It feels stable. It performs stability. But it has no shock resistance. It has no buffer. No elasticity. No breathing room. It works only if life cooperates. And life never cooperates forever. Real security isn't about appearances. It's about pressure tolerance. How much stress can your system absorb before it breaks? Most people never test that question. Until it's tested for them. Rule 1, margin before everything. The biggest lie in personal finance is this. Save a little emergency fund and you'll be fine. That advice came from a different era. Lower rent, lower medical costs, lower volatility, more predictable careers. Today, one ER visit wipes out 4 months of savings. One rent hike erases a year of discipline. One missed paycheck exposes everything. Emergency funds are not numbers. They're margin. Margin is the space between your life and collapse. It's oxygen. It's shock absorption. It's optionality. If one disruption breaks you, you were never safe. You were just comfortable. If every dollar is already assigned, if every paycheck is spoken for, if every month is maxed out, you don't have a budget. You have a countdown clock. Optimization without margin is dangerous. It just makes collapse faster. Build margin first. Before investing, before upgrading, before optimizing, before flexing. Margin is the foundation. Everything else sits on top of it. Rule 2, avoid fragility at all costs. Most people think debt is a math problem. It isn't. Debt is a pressure amplifier. It turns small problems into disasters. A broken transmission becomes a crisis. A medical bill becomes a spiral. A job loss becomes an avalanche. Why? Because debt removes flexibility. It locks in obligations. It fixes expenses. It limits response options. High interest. Monthly payments. No exit. That's fragility. Fragile systems don't fail slowly. They snap. And the people who snap aren't reckless. They're normal. They followed the rules. They financed stability. They assumed income would continue. They built lives that required perfection. And perfection doesn't exist. Avoiding fragility is not about morality. It's about engineering. If one event can cascade through your life, your system is brittle, no matter how good it looks. Strong systems bend. Fragile systems shatter. Rule 3, cash flow is the lifeline. Net worth doesn't pay bills. Cash flow does. You can own assets and still panic. You can look rich and feel trapped. You can have a great balance sheet and zero breathing room. If money stops when you stop working, you are exposed. Recurring cash flow is what keeps systems alive during interruption. That doesn't mean scams. That doesn't mean hype. That doesn't mean reckless leverage. It means multiple income sources, durable skills, transferable value, assets that move even imperfectly. Because life is imperfect, and money that only works in perfect conditions isn't wealth. It's conditional survival. Liquidity beats appearances. Movement beats potential. Cash flow buys time. Time buys clarity. Clarity buys good decisions. Rule 4, guard the core. This rule makes people uncomfortable because it contradicts social conditioning. We're taught to say yes, help first, spend to belong, sacrifice stability for approval. But here's reality. You don't strengthen a house by decorating it. You strengthen it by protecting the foundation. Your core is savings, cash flow, resilience, flexibility. If those aren't protected, everything else is cosmetic. Guarding the core means you don't fund lifestyles you can't sustain. You don't finance expectations. You don't trade security for approval. Generosity without stability is not noble. It's dangerous. Build your base first, then expand. Rule 5, invest for control, not returns. Most people invest for yield. That's incomplete. Returns don't matter if they don't buy control. control over time, control over choices, control over dependence. Money that grows but doesn't free you is just a bigger cage. Real wealth expands optionality. Optionality is the real dividend. It means you can walk away. You can say no. You can change paths. You can slow down. You can wait. If your portfolio grows but your life stays rigid, you miss the point. Invest to buy leverage over your own time, not just numbers. Rule 6, neutralize irreversible risk. Risk is not bad. Unmanaged risk is fatal. Most people do one of two things. Ignore risk. Obsess over risk. Both are mistakes. Smart systems design around risk. They ask, what would permanently damage me? What can I not recover from? What would end my options? And they neutralize those first. Diversification, liquidity, insurance, avoiding single points of failure. Most disasters come from concentration. One income, one assumption, one dependency. Survivable losses are acceptable. Irreversible ones are not. Rule 7, choose control over comfort. Comfort is seductive. Predictable routines, nice payments, familiar lifestyles, stable-looking systems. Comfort feels safe until it traps you. Comfort demands consistency from a world that offers none. Sound control is different. It absorbs shocks. It adapts. It survives disruption. Sound control means you don't panic when things change. You don't collapse when income shifts. You don't negotiate with desperation. Control compounds. Comfort decays. Choose control. Always. The story nobody talks about. Here's a story about a couple in their late 30s. 2 incomes. Nice apartment. Good cars. Decent credit. On paper, they were winning. Then the company downsized. 1 income vanished. 3 months later, savings gone, cards maxed, rent overdue, stress through the roof. They didn't fail. Their system did. It only worked at full power. No margin, no flexibility, no redundancy. That's fragility, and it's everywhere. Why margins change everything. Margin turns money from survival into leverage. It doesn't promise certainty. It gives you room. Room to think. Room to wait, room to choose, room to breathe. When you have margin, you think clearly, you negotiate calmly, you move strategically, you avoid panic. Stress loses power, fear loses leverage, bad decisions lose urgency. That's the real upgrade. Not income, not status, not appearances. Margin. Modern money is built for reality. Most advice was built for a world that no longer exists. Stable careers, cheap housing, predictable paths, low volatility. That world is gone. This is a high-risk, high-cost, high-uncertainty economy. You don't win it with optimism. You win it with systems. Systems that bend. Systems that adapt. Systems that survive. The margins framework. Margin first. Avoid fragility. Build cash flow. Guard the core. Invest for control. Neutralize risk. Choose control over comfort. That's the system. Not perfect, not flashy, but durable. Final truth. Freedom isn't a number. It's resilience. It's knowing that when life changes, and it will, you don't collapse. You adapt. You breathe. You move forward. That's modern money. Built for reality. Not fantasy. Not Instagram. Not yesterday's rules. If this hit harder than expected, it's because most people were never taught this. They were taught to perform stability, not build it. Follow cash for modern money rules. We don't sell shortcuts. We build systems that survive.